Augusta Lawn Care Handbook. Welcome to Augusta Lawn Care Services. Welcome to our company. We have chosen to work with each other and have joined an organization that prides itself on honesty, integrity, and service to our customers. With the commitment of hardworking team members like you, we will continue to build our company to the highest level of professionalism and to thrive as a leader in the green industry. Our employees are this company's most valuable assets. This employee handbook is a general guide we hope will help you understand how we can work together toward a shared success. We ask that you take time to read it and familiarize yourself with our company philosophy, policies, and practices. If anything in this handbook is not clear to you, or if you need more information, please ask your supervisor. Thank you for joining our team. We hope your experience here will be challenging and rewarding. Mike Andes. Introduction. Our company. Mike Andes started mowing lawns when he was 12 years old. He paid his way through college, pushing a lawnmower around his neighborhood with his brother. When he turned 18, he started Augusta Lawn Care Services. The name of the company was inspired by Augusta National Golf Course in Augusta, Georgia. This is the home of the PGA Masters Tournament. At this golf course, the landscapes are immaculate. The greens, fairways, and plants all reflect the untiring care and attention of the course's greenskeepers. Our tagline at Augusta Lawn Care is your personal greenskeeper, and we do our very best to give the same attention and level of professionalism to our customers. As part of the Augusta team, you can expect a group of individuals dedicated to becoming better versions of themselves on a daily basis. We look at our work as a place to hone our talents and skills, learning each and every day how to improve. We are honest with each other about where our areas of improvement are and respect each other to the highest degree. The culture of Augusta Lawn Care is one that will not be compromised. We care for one another and our customers. We will go to bat for each other and expect the same from our team members. As we look to the future, we hope to change the standard of lawn care companies across the country and raise the level of professionalism in the landscape industry. What we do. We create and maintain the landscapes of our clients and seek constant improvement. How do we do it? We create a customer-centered business that consistently produces the wow effect. Why do we propose? To revolutionize the level of professionalism in the landscaping industry and build a team that is inspired by the work that they do. This employee handbook. The statements in this employee handbook are not a full and complete documentation of the policies and procedures of Augusta Lawn Care, referred to in this document as the company. This is a general overview of the policies, procedures, and company benefits, as well as general information about employment with us. The content of this handbook may be changed at any time at the sole discretion of the company. Nothing in this handbook is to be considered a contract of employment or a guarantee of continued employment. Employment at will. Augusta Lawn Care is an employment at will employer. As such, you may cease your employment with us at any time and for any reason. The company may also cease employment with you at any time and for any reason. This handbook is not a contract guaranteeing employment for any specific duration. Both you and the company have the right to terminate your employment at any time. No supervisor, manager, or representative of the company, other than the owner, has the authority to enter into an agreement for employment for any specified period or to make any promises or commitments contrary to our employment at will statement. Any employment agreement entered into by the owner shall not be enforceable unless it is in writing and signed by both parties. Nothing in this employee handbook is intended to deprive an employee of their Federal Labor Standard Act, Section 7 and Section 8. Equal employment opportunity. Augusta Lawn Care is an equal employment opportunity employer. As such, we do not discriminate in any employment actions, including hiring, promotion, or compensation based on race, sex, nationality, religion, color, or national origin. It is our policy to ensure that all employment-related policies, procedures, practices, and activities are in full compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local EEO regulations. Administrative policies. Bulletin boards. The company bulletin boards are for providing information from the company to our employees. Company bulletin boards may not be used for personal notes, sales, announcements, or any other postings. This will also be reflected in the WhatsApp groups that are used to maintain communication on a daily basis. Computer, email, and internet usage. The company provides some employees access to its computer equipment and the internet. Employees are allowed to use the internet and email when necessary to serve our customers and conduct the company's business. The computer system, its hardware, software, and files are the property of the company. This includes the electronic mail system and all messages composed, sent, and received in this equipment or systems. The company reserves the right to access and monitor all files and messages on its system. You should assume neither privacy nor ownership of any information stored or processed on this equipment. The following standards regarding our computer equipment, software, and emails are part of this policy. No part of these systems may be used to solicit any commercial ventures, religious or political causes, outside organizations, or other non-job related solicitations. No offensive or disruptive messages are allowed. This includes derogatory messages that are sexual or racial in nature. No copyrighted materials, trade secrets, or company proprietary financial information may be transmitted for any purposes without the explicit approval of the owner. No employee may use code, access a file, or retrieve stored information unless authorized to do so. All computer passwords must be provided to your supervisor. No password may be used that is unknown to the company. You may not download or upload copyrighted material not legally provided to you by the company. All messages sent by you must be transmitted with your name attached. Use of the internet must not disrupt operation of the company's computer network and must not interfere with any employee's productivity. Employees are responsible for using the internet in a manner that is ethical and lawful. You should not assume the confidentiality of any message. Even deleted or erased messages are still retrievable. Violation of these policies may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Conflict of interest. You are expected to exercise honesty, high ethical standards, and good judgment in all business dealings. You must avoid any actions that might create a conflict of interest or even an appearance of such a conflict that might reflect unfavorably on the company. The following, although not a complete list, are examples of activities that might create a conflict of interest and must be avoided. Ownership, directly or indirectly, of an employee of a substantial financial interest in any outside concern that is a competitor of Augusta Lawn Care, conducts business or seeks to do business with Augusta Lawn Care, or furnishes or seeks to furnish its services or supplies or materials, and the employee has the authority or ability to make any decisions or recommendations or otherwise have any influence. Performing competitive work on the side for our clients or residents within Arnold or St. Peters County, engaging in any activities that conflicts with the business interests of Augusta Lawn Care, accepting gifts, bonuses, or anything of value except small items offered as normal business courtesy from any recognized potential client or any consultant, supplier, contractor, competitor, or customer of the company. Also see the confidentiality and moonlighting policies. Confidentiality. As employees, you may be aware of company private information that, if known to competitors, could be harmful to the company. This information should be kept confidential and not shared with anyone outside the company. Violation of this policy may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Some employees may also be entrusted with proprietary information that is considered owned property and is for the exclusive use of the company. Such information may be including pricing formulas, corporate strategies, financial information, employee information, contractual documents, and customer lists. This document serves as a confidentiality agreement, legally restricting the disclosure of this information. Also see the conflict of interest and moonlighting policies. By signing this document, you as the employee of the company realize that your picture and name may be shown online or mentioned in media concerning the company. After being hired, you give permission for video and pictures of you to be taken and broadcasted via internet, social media, and other company-endorsed media outlets. This includes, but is not limited to, monthly vlog updates, pictures on the website and Facebook, marketing materials, print advertising, and mentions on podcasts. Deductions from pay. There are specific laws requiring us to deduct certain money such as taxes and Social Security from your pay each week. In addition, there may be other deductions made such as mandated child care payments or court order deductions. There may be other reasons for deductions like purchases made from or through the company, or breakage or loss of the company property if determined by the company to be neglect or intentional abuse. In most cases, you will enter into a signed agreement with the company agreeing to the indebtedness and pay deductions. We do not provide loans or pay advances. Moonlighting. Moonlighting, as defined for other purposes, occurs when an employee is doing other work outside their employment with the company while employed with us. These acts are acceptable only if they occur on your own time, do not interfere with your employment with us, do not compete with the company in any way, do not include the use of company equipment, materials, tools, or expenses, do not take any client or business away from the company, are not conducted, managed, or administered during company time. Any client asking for work to be done should be referred to us. Ownership or partnership in a company or enterprise that is competitive with the company is not ethical and is not allowed. See also the conflict of interest in moonlighting policies. Pay schedule. The pay period extends every 2 weeks ending on Friday at 11:59 p.m. Payroll is submitted the Saturday after the pay period ends and can be expected to be deposited within 2 to 3 business days. The company provides no pay advances or loans. Personnel records. Personnel records will be kept on all employees and are the property of the company. Only job-related information is kept in personnel files. It is important that all information in your file be accurate and up to date. Please notify us of any changes in your personal information, such as address, phone number, education, training, certificates, etc., or certifications. You are responsible to update your training checklists and present them upon annual renewal review time. The company will keep record of number of days that an employee is tardy, absent, as well as the dollar cost of damages to customer or company equipment or property. These records will be reviewed during employee reviews. Your job. Absenteeism and tardiness. Your work with us is important. When you are not here, it makes a difference. Absenteeism and tardiness prevent us from servicing our customers in a business-like and professional manner. They also impose a burden on other employees. Our workday usually begins at 8 a.m. at the shop. Start times may be adjusted at the discretion of your supervisor. We expect you to be on time every day. 1 minute late means a tardy will be added to your employee profile. Any absenteeism is a problem. Necessary and understandable absenteeism with proper notification we can work with. But habitual absenteeism or tardiness will be addressed and can lead to disciplinary actions, including termination of employment. No call, no show absenteeism is even more serious and will not be tolerated. Any such cases can also lead to disciplinary action, including termination. 2 days of no call, no show, or without an acceptable cause is considered job abandonment and will be considered a resignation. Doing this may cause you to forfeit any P4P bonus you have accumulated. Notification of absence. You must notify your supervisor or the office at 636-293-3225 if your supervisor is not available, as soon as you know you are not going to be at work on a day for which you are scheduled. You should make that notification call no later than 6 p.m. the day before your shift, and this call must be made by you. Do not have relatives or friends make this call for you. You are also required to call in on each day of absence unless the full length of absence can be determined and agreed on in advance. This enables your supervisor to plan work schedules and determine whether a replacement is required. If you must be absent because of a necessary appointment, we ask that you give us at least 1 week notice if possible. Emergency situations will be honored on a case-by-case basis and at the sole discretion of the company. 2 days of no call, no show, or without an acceptable cause is considered job abandonment and will be considered a resignation. Doing this may cause you to forfeit any P4P bonus you have accumulated. Cell phones. Cell phones are necessary for work-related communication and use of the company software system. Employees are required to have access to a mobile internet device, a phone or tablet. Employees are expected to use them to conduct their daily job activities. Cell phones are not to be used to conduct personal business during work hours, except during lunch or breaks, or in the case of an emergency. Please advise your friends and family to refrain from calling you except in those cases. As a guide, whether you are using your cell phone or company-owned device, such personal use should never exceed 5 minutes a day. Team members are permitted to use personal earbuds to listen to music, audiobooks, or podcasts throughout the day. The audio must not be so loud that other team members or customers cannot get the attention of the employee or safety around equipment is impaired. It is expected that when a customer is within speaking distance that the employee remove personal ear audio device. Audio cannot be played over a radio, speaker, or other devices that transmit sounds beyond their personal ears. Safety is a primary concern. Thus, cell phone use while driving a company vehicle is forbidden unless you are using a hands-free device. Employees are prohibited from taking notes while driving a company vehicle or from using a headset device that restricts normal hearing. Employees should refrain from engaging in stressful or emotional conversations while driving. Company vehicles. Anyone who drives a company vehicle must maintain a valid driver's license and be insurable by the company's insurance carrier. Both driver and passengers must have seatbelts in full use whenever a company vehicle is used. No use of music, radio, or entertainment headset electronics may impede your hearing ability is allowed on any vehicle driver. You must notify us in the event that you receive a citation for a moving violation, driving under the influence, or any restriction or loss of your driving privileges. You may be held responsible for all moving and parking violations. You are responsible for and must pay any fines issued for such violations. No one under the age of 16 years of age, current employees who are not given permission by management may drive any company vehicle or use company equipment except in case of emergency. Be courteous to other drivers and drive with caution. You have a company image to protect. Only employees of the company are allowed to ride in company vehicles. No non-employee passengers are allowed in or on company vehicles or express permission of supervisor. Company use of personal vehicle. There may be rare occasions where an employee is required to use his or her personal vehicle for company business. In this case, the company will reimburse the employee at the current IRS mileage allowance. You must keep a daily log of miles driven, odometer readings, and destinations. Reimbursement is on a monthly basis and will be considered a reimbursement for business expense. In order to be reimbursed, you must have signed approval from the owner to be paid by the company for use of your personal vehicle. Customer relations. Our clients see you as the face of the company. Always treat them with respect. Foul language will not be tolerated on the job or in the office. Be prompt and courteous, smile when you meet them, use proper language, and be helpful. If the client changes the scope of work or alters the job in any way, you must check with your supervisor or the department management before proceeding. Do so in a courteous, professional manner to assume that the customer has no ill feelings. What our customers expect: attractive, clean, and manicured property, properly installed plant material and related items, easily identifiable, pleasant, and neatly dressed staff, expert help when needed, value for their money, personal attention and concern for their needs, respect and appreciation from staff, efficient, courteous service, swift and fair resolution of complaints, fulfilled promises. 8 rules for good customer service. 1. Always greet the customer pleasantly. 2. Know the customer's name and use it. 3. Smile. 4. Never argue with a customer. If you find yourself unable to speak courteously with a customer, call your supervisor. 5. Always say thank you. 6. Know your job. If you're not sure of the answer, get the answer from another staff person. 7. Maintain professionalism at all times. 8. Remember that our customers are your first priority. Please treat them with respect. Job site etiquette. 1. Personal radios will not be allowed. 2. Appearance. A shirt must be worn at all times. 3. Cleanup. At the end of each workday, the job site should be cleared up and left free of trash, food containers, and other debris. Drug-free workplace. In a commitment to safeguard the health of our employees and to provide a safe work environment for everyone, we have established this drug-free workplace. Under this policy, it is a condition of employment for our team members to refrain from reporting to work or working with the presence of drugs or alcohol in their body. The company has no tolerance for any substance abuse in any form. The essential parts of this policy. The company prohibits the illegal use, possession, sale, manufacture, or distribution of drugs, alcohol, or other controlled substances on its property. It is also against the policy to report to work or to work under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Any employee who is taking any prescription drug that might impair safety, performance, or any motor functions must advise his or her supervisor of the fact before reporting to work under the influence of such medication. Drug and alcohol testing. The company uses the following drug screening methods as part of our drug-free workplace. Pre-employment. All new employees will be tested for drug and substance use. The company will employ no one who tests positive. All offers of employment are contingent on the results of these pre-employment drug tests. Reasonable cause testing. Any employee will be tested when there is reasonable suspicion that he or she is using or has been using illegal drugs or alcohol. Incident testing. In the event of an accident or incident wherein injury or property damage occurs, all involved parties will be tested for drugs and or alcohol. Follow-up testing. An employee who has been determined to have used drugs or alcohol and is permitted by the company to return to work will be subject to an unannounced follow-up drug test. Random testing. Employees who drive for the company will be subject to random drug testing. Any employee who refuses to submit to testing or fails such testing will be subject to immediate termination of employment. Emergency procedures. In the event of an on-the-job injury, act immediately to assure that you are safe and then follow these procedures. 1. In a life-threatening emergency, call 911 as soon as possible. 2. In a non-life-threatening emergency, contact your supervisor. Your supervisor will determine if the injury is severe enough to require professional medical attention. You will be directed to the nearest medical facility if the injury requires immediate attention. If the injury is less severe, you will be directed to an appropriate facility for care. 3. An employee injury report must be filled out as soon after the injury as possible. Witnesses to the injury should also fill out a statement regarding the injury. These forms may be obtained for your supervisor. In accidents involving personal injury or equipment damage in the excess of $500, all employees involved, including the injured employee, may be required to submit a drug and alcohol test. Employee suggestions. We truly value your suggestions for improvement and your ideas for better ways to do things. Although you may do so formally in writing, we also encourage you to tell us your ideas and suggestions on the job every day. If you feel that you are experiencing difficulty or problems, you are welcome to use more formal grievance procedure. See the grievance procedure. Employment categories. For purposes of salary administration and eligibility for overtime payments and employment benefits, the company classifies its employees as following. Regular full-time employees. A full-time employee normally is scheduled for 40 hours or more hours per week year-round. Regular full-time employees are eligible for company benefits such as those listed in the benefits section. Seasonal employees. Seasonal employees are employed for our high-volume season and are normally scheduled 40 hours or more per week. They are eligible for Social Security, workers' compensation, unemployment compensation, and employee events but are not eligible for any other benefits. Part-time employees. Part-time employees are those who are normally scheduled for 30 hours or less per week or 9 months per year. They are eligible for Social Security, workers' compensation, and unemployment compensation and employee events, but are not eligible for any other employee benefits. All employees also fall into one of the following categories. Non-exempt employees, which are hourly paid, employees who, in compliance with the Federal Labor Standards Act, and because of the nature of the work they do, are paid overtime at a rate of 1.5 times their regular rate of pay for all hours worked over 40 in our work week. Exempt employees, which are salaried, employees who, because of the nature of the work they do, are exempt from the overtime provisions of the FLSA, executives, office workers, professional employees, outside sales representatives, certain computer programmers, and employees in such administrative positions are typically exempt. Also see special notice under overtime. Equipment and tool use. The company does not lend or provide equipment, trucks, tools, or allow the use of its facilities for personal use at any time. No employee may remove any company equipment or property from the company for personal use. Employees who are entrusted with a specific piece of equipment are responsible for maintaining it while it is in their care. Watch for signs of failure, ensure that all safety guards and devices are intact and in working order, inform their supervisor immediately if they notice any problems with the equipment. Employees should not attempt repairs unless you have prior approval of your supervisor. If any tools or equipment items are lost or damaged because of malicious intent, repeated carelessness, or gross negligence, you will be held responsible for the cost of repairs or replacement. Each incident will be decided on a case-by-case basis and at the discretion of the company. Facility management. It is the responsibility of each employee to keep the entire facility and our customers' job sites clean and free of trash. Supervisors must assure that each site is checked before leaving and that our facility is checked at the end of each day. Grievance procedure. We are interested in hearing any suggestions for improvement or any complaints that you may have concerning your welfare. At any time, you should feel free to express yourself and to seek advice on any matter that may seem to be operating to your disadvantage. If you feel that your concerns should be formalized, the following procedure should be used. 1. We feel that most problems will be resolved by discussing them with your peers. You will find that a timely, open, and honest talk is generally the easiest and most effective way of dealing with problems that arise. However, if for any reason you are unable to arrive at a satisfactory solution, or if you feel you have a problem that cannot be discussed with him or her, you should go directly to that supervisor to discuss the issue. If after discussing this with your supervisor, you feel that your issue has still not been resolved, or if for any reason you feel that the matter cannot be discussed with your supervisor, you should bring the issue directly to the owner. You may do so in writing if you prefer. You will receive a response within 3 working days. The decision of the owner will be final. There will be no retaliation against any employee for expressing or filing a grievance. Harassment. Harassment is a form of discrimination for any illegal motives. This form of harassment includes acts, slurs, insults, jokes, or other acts of conduct or mannerisms that harass or intimidate individuals based on their race, religion, national origin, color, gender, age, disability, or veteran status. If you feel that you have been subjected to or are aware of illegal harassment in our workplace, you should bring this matter to the attention of your supervisor immediately. If that is not practical for any reason, you should bring this to the attention of the owner. An investigation will be conducted and the issue will be resolved. Being found guilty of illegal harassment may lead to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Inclement weather and reporting to work. In the event of inclement weather, you are expected to report to work at the determined time unless you have been notified otherwise. We normally work in conditions that are slightly inclemental, but do not present a hazardous situation. Inclemental weather may include rain, wind, or snow year-round. If management considers the condition to be excessive, you may be notified not to come in or may be sent home. If notified not to come in, you will not be paid for the day. If you are sent home after starting work, you will be paid for the time you were on duty. Lunch and breaks. A meal break of 30 minutes may be taken daily if a workday exceeds 5 hours of labor. Lunch periods are unpaid and must be taken at, near the job site, or en route to the next job. Employees are not required to take meal breaks and work through the meal break period if they choose to do so. Company policies and standards must be upheld during meal breaks if they are utilized. New employee 90-day introductory period. All new employees will be in a 90-day introductory period. During this period, you may be subject to several performance evaluations with the intention of helping you adjust to our company and for you and the company to determine whether we are a good fit. Employees may not use any leave during this time period. After the introductory period, the company may choose to change the hourly or salary pay based on the employee's abilities, skills, and overall performance demonstrated. The amount may be increased or in some rare cases decreased. At any time during the 90-day period, the company may decide to take corrective steps, disciplinary action, or terminate employment at its discretion. In such cases, the employee is not allowed to use the grievance procedure or the performance improvement program, except as determined by the company. Guidance and assistance may be offered at the discretion of the company. You and your supervisor should work together constantly to maintain, improve, and keep the flow of two-way communication open. Overtime. Overtime is only allowed if authorized directly by your supervisor or the owner. Hourly, non-exempt employees who work more than 40 hours in our work week, Sunday through Saturday, will be paid 1.5 times their normal hourly rate of pay for each hour worked over 40 in our work week. Overtime is often required in our business, particularly during the spring and fall busy season. We must be prepared to serve our clients when they need us. Failure to work overtime when required is a serious matter and in some cases could lead to termination of employment. Pay and promotion. You and your supervisor agreed on your rate of pay before you were hired. The company intends to pay wages that are competitive and those paid for similar work in our area. The company feels that a person should be compensated according to his or her value to the company. This takes into consideration the type of work he or she will perform, the quality of the work, the skills and knowledge he or she possesses or acquires, the responsibilities he or she takes on, and his or her general attitude toward work, fellow employees, supervisors, and the company customers. Accordingly, the employee's pay rate will be adjusted to reflect his or her value to the company. In addition, there are other factors the company takes into consideration in determining what an employee pay and status should be. Among them are, number 1, employee annual performance reviews and peer reviews. 2, level of professionalism displayed in his or her work and relationships. As you acquire the skills and responsibilities that make you a more valuable employee, you are eligible to earn increasingly higher pay and promotions to positions that require more responsibility. Performance reviews. Although an employee's work performance may be reviewed and discussed on a regular basis, each employee will be given a formal performance evaluation at least once each year. In some cases, the performance improvement program may be that evaluation. You may request to sit down with your supervisor or manager for a formal review at any time. Performance reviews become a permanent part of an employee's personal record and will be given strong consideration relating to all employment matters, including transfer, promotion, and/or pay increases. The office will track tardy days and cost of mistakes and breakages in order to have a quantifiable metric for performance reviews. New hires will receive a performance review 30 days after being hired. The supervisor and owner of the company will give the review and discuss areas of improvement and success. Annually, the entire team will give peer reviews and openly discuss what each team members need to work on. Active engagement in this activity is required, as well as the acceptance of constructive criticism. Performance Improvement Program. It is our desire to help you to be the best in your job that you can be. When and if there is a need to improve your performance or change behaviors, we hope to work with you to develop those improvements. Initially, you may come to your supervisor and request guidance and assistance in that improvement. This is certainly the preferred way to achieve improvement, by you proactively seeking to improve your abilities and skills. In some cases, however, we may take the lead by addressing the desire for improvement or change to you. We may do this through the Performance Improvement Program. This PIP consists of 3 steps. 1, verbal discussion. Your supervisor or member of management will personally and verbally bring the matter to your attention with the goal of helping you to develop better performance or behavior. 2, written notice. If there is no success through step 1, a written notice stating the needs for improvement and the necessary action to be taken will be sent to you and also placed in your personnel file. Timelines and measured progress will be identified. Probation. If step 1 and 2 have not proven successful, you may be placed on a performance probation. This will be a written document identifying the history of the issue. It will include specific milestones that must be achieved. There will be a specific duration of this probation that in most cases will be from 30 to 90 days. Failure to achieve the required performance can result in terminating your employment. However, if at any time during the PIP process it becomes identifiably clear to the company that proceeding through the steps will be fruitless, the process may be stopped at any time and progress progressed immediately to termination. Respect for the environment. All employees are expected to comply with all environmental laws and regulations, promote the conservation of energy and natural resources through efficient use, work diligently to protect the environment on the job. Safety. Above productivity or profit, your first concern must be for the safety of yourself and your fellow employees. We will regularly have discussions on safety issues and review safety concerns. You must wear the company-provided safety gear, including eye protection, hearing protection, and gloves, every day when performing work. Your performance evaluations and continued employment are directly related to your safe work habits. It is the employee's responsibility to notify the appropriate supervisor immediately if he or she sustains an injury, illness, or is involved in an accident or incident. An accident report must be filled out on the day of its occurrence. If it is impossible, then it must be completed within 24 hours of the incident. If we can't do it safely, then we don't do it. Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is a form of unlawful discrimination based on sex. In some circumstances, it may also violate other laws, for example, criminal assault. Any form of unlawful discrimination to which the policy applies is a very serious matter and will not be tolerated by the company. Because there is often a great deal of confusion about sexual harassment, however, it is described here. Sexual harassment includes, but is not limited to, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. Sexual harassment is unlawful discrimination based on sex when 1. Submission to such conduct is explicitly or implicitly a requirement of the individual's employment, or 2. It is used as a basis for an employment decision concerning that individual, or 3. Such conduct has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with the individual's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. Sexual harassment is prohibited by the Civil Rights Act of 1964, by the regulatory guidelines of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, by applicable state and local law, and by our own policy. Sexual harassment, as so defined, will not be condoned. Our employees are absolutely prohibited from engaging in it. Furthermore, our management and supervisory staff are instructed to use all reasonable means to become aware of whether employees are being subjected to sexual harassment and to take immediate action when sexual harassment has been charged. This action includes an immediate and fair investigation in order to establish the facts, after which a decision will be made as to the validity of the charges and innocence or guilt of the charged party and the appropriate action to be taken, if any. Appropriate disciplinary measures will be taken against employees who cause, engage in, encourage, condone, or otherwise permit unlawful sexual harassment. Such conduct may be grounds for dismissal from employment. Sexual harassment laws apply to all employees and include your behavior to clients and the general public. Examples of sexual harassment include, but are not limited to, unwelcome sexual advances or sexual flirtations, physical conduct of a sexual nature including physical assault or sexual violence, unwelcome physical contact including patting, pinching, or unnecessary touching, requests for sexual favors, verbal abuse of a sexual nature, subtle pressure for sexual activity, sexual suggestive remarks, jokes, or gestures, graphic or sexist comments about an individual's body, manner, or sexual activities, sexually degrading words used to describe an individual, including sexual nicknames, unwanted staring or leering, the display in the workplace of sexual suggestive objects, pictures, or cartoons, electronic communication, email, of a sexual nature involving either members of the opposite or same sex. Reporting sexual harassment. If you believe you have been sexually harassed, or if you become aware of someone being sexually harassed, it is your responsibility to immediately report the harassment to your supervisor or the owner. Retaliation against an employee for reporting such incidents or because a fellow employee participated in an investigation is prohibited and will not be tolerated. Any suspected retaliation must also be reported immediately. Investigating sexual harassment. It is the company's policy to investigate all such complaints in a timely and impartial manner. The investigation will attempt to determine if any harassment has occurred, and if so, the appropriate remedies. All persons involved in an investigation are required to maintain strict confidentiality about the matter. The accused employee's rights will be protected during the course of an investigation. Guilt will not be assumed, and all parties are innocent unless and until reasonable guilt has been established. Consequences. Where a violation of this policy is found to have occurred, appropriate action will be promptly taken. An impartial investigation will be conducted. If such charges are reasonably established, an employee may be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination for any act of sexual harassment committed or condoned. False, malicious accusations may result in the same course of action. Smoking and tobacco. Smoking and tobacco use is not allowed at any time on, in, or around the company property while an employee is clocked in, wearing a company uniform, driving a company vehicle, or in any way associated with the company. Company property includes, but is not necessarily limited to, buildings, grounds, vehicles, and equipment. Smoking and/or tobacco use is not allowed on a customer's property at any time. Solicitation and distribution. In the interest of maintaining proper business environment and preventing interference with work and inconvenience to others, it is the company's policy not to permit solicitations of any kind in working areas or job sites during our workday, including meal breaks and rest periods. There will be no distribution of literature or products on company property or job sites during a workday. No employees are likewise prohibited from distributing materials or soliciting employees on the company's premise and job sites at any time. Termination of employment. There may be many reasons for either you or the company to decide to end our employment relationship. It may be that we just do not make a good fit, or that you have better opportunities elsewhere. In that event, we would like to carry out such a decision in a professional manner. Voluntary resignation. If you decided to leave us, we would like to make our separation professional and with mutual respect. We respect that you give us at least 2 weeks' notice if possible. Before leaving, you must return all company items, including uniforms, tools, equipment, and cell phones. Layoff. A layoff is defined as a cessation of employment for non-disciplinary reasons. When the volume of work the company has no longer requires the number of employees we have, there may be cause for a layoff. Decisions on who will be laid off is entirely at the discretion of the company and may be based on many factors, including the skills, performance, work recorded, and length of service of employment. Those laid off may be eligible for rehire at the discretion of the company. Cause for immediate termination. In most cases, employee performance or behavior issues will be addressed through the performance improvement process, but in rare cases, they may be cause for immediate termination. This will be decided on a case-by-case basis. The following are examples of the gravity of such cases. Use of or being under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol on company premise, on company duty, or before our clients. Insubordination. Bringing firearms or explosives onto company property or using them on company time without the direct and written consent of the owner of the company. Theft of the company, a client, or an employee's property. Fighting or displaying violent behavior. Being found guilty after investigation of sexual harassment. Failure to meet expectations during the 90-day probation period. Improperly removing or giving away company materials, tools, equipment, or property. Unreported absence from work for 2 days are considered abandonment of your job and resignation. Violating the non-compete and confidentiality clause in the Employee Handbook and contract. Timesheets. It is important that you clock in and out of each day. Clocking in should be done upon stepping foot inside of the office, not before. Clock out should be done immediately after parking trucks and completing end-of-day duties, not after leaving the office. If a clock in is forgotten or skipped, the time will be set to the time the day started, 8 a.m. And if a clock out is forgotten, the time will be set to the minute that the employee last punched out of a job site. Failure to do so may cause a delay in your pay. Travel. Travel to and from work each day is not paid by the company. Travel between jobs during the day is on paid time. Employees using their own vehicle for the company travel or business will be reimbursed at the standard IRS per mile rate for business use of a personal automobile. Mileage must be recorded each day, including miles driven, odometer readings, and destinations, and must be turned into your supervisor every 2 weeks for reimbursement. The employee is responsible for all costs related to ownership and maintenance of his or her vehicle and any other costs incurred while operating the vehicle. All company use of personal vehicles must be approved by management. If you travel overnight for company business, all reasonable costs of transportation, lodging, personal telephone calls, and meals, 3 per day, are reimbursed when authorized by management. Uniforms and appearance. You represent our company to the public. A professional appearance and conduct is the image we all must present. Treat our customers and each other with respect and a willingness to help. All employees are required to present a neat and clean appearance on the job at all times. You are expected to be well groomed at all times and to maintain personal hygiene so as not to be offensive to other employees or to our customers. All employees are provided with a set of uniforms when they join us. Uniforms are the property of the company and are supplied to you at no cost. Uniform items will be replaced as needed because of normal wear and tear free of charge to you. However, lost or negligently abused uniform items will be charged to you. T-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodie will be provided. You must return all items if you leave the company. Failure to do so will result in their costs being deducted from your final paycheck. You are to wear your uniform every day. If you show up at work without your full uniform, you may be sent home. All employees must wear a shirt at all times. You must provide your own safety shoes, glasses, gloves, and ear protection. No open-toed shoes, sneakers, running shoes, or sandals are to be worn on the job. Employees must wear protective closed-toed work boots on the job. You may not alter or disfigure your uniform in any way. Violence in the workplace. The company recognizes the need to provide a secure working environment free from threats or acts of violence against employees. In our effort to provide a violence-free workplace, the company is committed to having open lines of communication between members of management and employees. Threats of violence and acts of violence by employees against coworkers, supervisors, customers, or third parties are expressly prohibited. Complaints of threats of violence or actual incidents of violence should be reported to the supervisor immediately. No weapons of any kind are allowed on company property or on our job sites. Violation of our nonviolence policy may lead to disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. Workday. Our workday starts at 8 a.m. at our office location and normally ends around 5 p.m. unless otherwise notified or routes dictate. Most of the year, our workdays are Monday through Friday. However, during our peak season in the spring and fall, our schedule is from Monday through Saturday. Saturday work may be required throughout the year when schedule is busy and is not optional. Overtime rules apply as usual. Work week. Our work week begins on Saturday morning at 12 a.m. and continues through the following Friday night at midnight. All non-exempt hourly paid employees who work more than 40 hours during this period will be paid 1.5 times their regular rate of pay for all hours worked in excess of 40 hours. Your benefits. Leave benefits. Bereavement leave. All regular full-time employees who have been employed for at least 3 months of continuous service are eligible for 2 days of unpaid leave for the death of an immediate family member. Members of the immediate family include spouse, parents, grandparents of the employee, step-parents, brother, sister, stepbrothers, stepsisters, children, stepchildren, aunts, uncles, and parents-in-law. Requests for bereavement leave should be made through your supervisor. Jury duty. The company feels it is important that employees fulfill their jury duty responsibilities when called. All time off required will be allowed but is not paid time. It is your responsibility to notify your supervisor of jury duty. Documentation of the subpoena and time served must be presented to your manager. If you are dismissed early from jury duty while 4 or more hours of regular scheduled workday remain, you will be expected to report to work. Leave of absence. Leave of absence is defined as approved unpaid time away from your job for more than 30 days. Should you require extended time away from your job, please make your request in writing to the owner at least 1 month in advance if possible. Decisions to grant a leave of absence for other than maternity and disability reasons will be based on company schedule and needs, the workflow, your length of service, previous requests, attendance and job performance, as well as the length and reason of your proposed absence. Leave of absence are unpaid time. You must contact the owner at least every 2 weeks while on a leave of absence, otherwise agreed in writing. Failure to return to the designated date may result in forfeiting your employment. All leaves are granted at the sole discretion of the company. Either the employee or the company may elect to have any earned vacation time used during this leave. Leave without pay. Leave without pay is defined as an approved, unpaid time away from your job for up to 30 days. Leave without pay may be requested by you or may be assigned to you by the company. If you require leave without pay, you may request up to 30 days of unpaid leave in writing. Please give us at least 2 weeks advance notice of your request. If you are covered by company benefits, they will continue as before, and you must continue to pay your portion of the premiums. During leave without pay, your time off will continue to be counted for vacation and other service time related purposes. In some cases, such as disciplinary actions or investigations, the company may place you on leave without pay. Leave without pay is unpaid time. Either the employee or the company may elect to have any earned sick leave or vacation time used during this leave. Maternity or disability leave. If an employee is unable to perform his or her work duties or responsibilities because of a pregnancy or any other medical reason, he or she may be granted, on request, an unpaid leave of absence. The request for disability leave must be in writing to the owner. The request must include the reason for the leave as well as beginning date of the leave and the return to work date. Disability leave will not automatically be granted, but each request will be considered individually on its own merits and at the sole discretion of the company. Employees are expected to provide as much advance notice as possible. Before approving the leave, the company may require reasonable documentation verifying that the medically related disability exists and prevents the employee from performing his or her job. While on approved maternity or disability leave, an employee will not lose his or her seniority, previously earned benefits, or job position. However, if this period exceeds 30 days, then none of this leave will be counted toward vacation, seniority, or for any other company-related purpose. Either the employee or the company may elect to have any earned sick leave or vacation time used during this leave. Military leave. In compliance with the Uniform Service Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, the company provides this leave benefit for employees who serve in the military, National Guard, and/or reserve duty. If you are required to be absent for your position for National Guard or Military Reserve annual training duty, or for any official military requirement, you will then be granted unpaid leave. This is normally expected to be approximately 2 weeks or 4 weeks. It is essential that you advise the owner as far in advance as possible. If you are called to active duty, your position or one of similar pay and rank will be provided to you on your return in compliance with the U.S. ERRA regulations. All active duty time served will be applied to your eligibility for vacation benefits. Vacation. Unpaid vacation is not limited, however, the time off requested must be approved by office and management. We ask that prior notice be given to the office in advance. Outside of emergencies, 21 days notice prior to requested is expected. We request that vacation time not be scheduled during the months of March, April, May, June, September, October, or November. Vacation schedules are approved at the discretion of your supervisor. Paid vacation may be outlined as a future benefit, but will be limited to the months of January, February, July, August, and December. Voting in public elections. You are encouraged to participate in your civic duty by voting in public elections. On election day, you will be allowed 2 hours of unpaid time to do so. Please try to make it at the beginning or the end of your day. Schedule your time at least 3 days in advance with your supervisor. Health and welfare. Social Security. As required by federal law, both you and the company contribute to your Social Security benefits. Social Security may provide you with retirement income, disability income, and death benefits. Unemployment compensation. As required by state law, the company provides and pays for unemployment compensation for all employees. In the event that you are unemployed or are seeking employment and are ready, willing, and able to accept employment, You may qualify for temporary financial assistance through the state unemployment insurance program. Workers' compensation. In the event of a work-related accident or illness that causes you to incur medical expenses and/or lost time, you may be eligible for workers' compensation. You must report all work injuries immediately to your supervisor. Thank you for listening to this Employee Handbook. Please make sure to sign your Employee Handbook receipt and acknowledgement and turn this into the office.